Om. 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 Om Sahana O Bhavantu, Sahana O Bunaktu, Saha Viryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vitvishabhai, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So my name is Swami Sitaramananda. I'm a teacher of yoga, meditation, Vedanta, and also health. So today I'd like to start a talk this morning with a silent meditation. So we are here in the hills of the city called Đà Lạt in Vietnam. You can see the beautiful pine trees. So we're going to close our eyes for a little bit and we just be in silence for a few minutes. Be aware of our breath. Relax, let go of all thoughts, be here and now. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So Om Namah Shivaya. So the today topic is quite advanced, and the meditation method, the Vedantic meditation method, is quite involved. So I will try to talk about this slowly, so you have time to absorb and to think. I feel it's important to talk about this because in this time, what we know is that people are afraid a lot. And last time I talked already about this, fear, worries, anxieties, and how the reconnection with our faith will help to dispel the fear. So in it, we did talk about fear. We did talk about faith in oneself. So this meditation method will help us to do that. It's called Vedantic Meditation. And Vedanta is an ancient philosophy. And our teaching is coming from this tradition, Vedantic teaching. So today, we will introduce you to a new way of thinking that will help you to feel strong in this time of fear and anxieties, okay, that the world is suffering from. I'm to try to settle myself. I'm sorry. So it's about thinking differently about ourselves, others, the reality. Okay. So in order for us to think differently, we need to do self-inquiry. So we have the tendency to blame. That is an unknown kind of enemy that is threatening our life and put our life into a halt, a stop. We feel that our well-being, our health is being threatened. We are facing with uncertainty. And then some of the existential questions that we did not ask for a long time come to surface. So I feel that now is a great opportunity to think deeply and to find peace and strength through a new understanding of who am I. This new understanding of ourselves and our environment shed light to our problems of fears and anxieties and makes us feel stronger. Okay? So, what is this practice of self-inquiry? So, we need to ask ourselves the question, who am I? And break the habit to be ourselves. So, when people ask the question, who am I? Then your mind say, well, I know who I am. But this is exactly what we need to rethink. Called breaking the habit to be yourself. Very nice sentence from one of the author, a modern author. So Vedanta philosophy is a powerful philosophy coming from the Vedas. It gives us new insights and solutions to our problem. Okay, so now I go slowly. It says that we need to solve our problems from a different level of consciousness than the one we are familiar with. It says that it is about seeing our own self and our environment differently. So to do so, we need to think deeply and endeavor to distinguish between what is unchanging and what is changing. So that's a key. Something unchanging is real, and something changing is illusory. So to get to the unchanging, we need to question what we believe about ourselves and our perception of the universe we see around us to be true. So whole meditation exercise is about asking ourselves, who am I? And break down the false identification. So you do not know who you are, but you know who you are not. That's the idea. So what remains is the I. After you remove the false identification, what remains is the I, the real I. By doing so, we recover the self and feel stronger and happier. We free ourselves from sufferings and fears resulting from our attachment to the false self or the temporary self. We realize that it is a habit that we carry for a long time. Therefore, the meditation needs to continue over time, not just only one exercise one day, but we need to keep doing it. We need to make it a habit to regularly self-inquire ourselves. Then eventually, we'll become more and more detached. So to do this, it takes you some kind of strength and a sharp intellect to do so. So our habitual mind, so we are inquiring about why it is like that. Then we see that our habitual mind keeps reproducing the past illusions. If we are not questioning ourselves, then the mind keeps reproduce wrong idea about ourselves and about the world. And this repetition makes things stronger.
Frozen. So maybe take a couple minutes. Are you there, Samaji?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. We lost you for a second.
Okay. Now you can hear?
Yeah.
Okay. So we talk about why we keep attaching ourselves to the wrong idea of ourselves. Then we say it is our mind that keep reproducing our illusions about ourselves since a very long time. So in fact, things are not the way we think them to be. The reality we see is the reality of our mind projections. So the classical story of snake and rope illustrates well our situation. So in the darkness, this person saw a snake and jumped in fright. Someone who is not afraid of snake brought the light to shine upon the snake. So under the light, it turns out that it is a simple and innocent rope. So the rope looks like a snake, but it's not a snake. The rope did not become a snake, and the snake did not become a rope. All what is happening is in the mind. The mind has already the fears of snakes. Therefore, it projected snake. So one's thought and memory is being superimposed upon the truth. In the same manner, in the darkness of our spiritual ignorance, we keep seeing the scary and the stressful things and reacted in fears. When we dare to inquire, the knowledge sets us free. And we see things as they are, and not what we imagine it to be. So Vedanta is teaching a lot in terms of analogy, some simple story, daily life, so we can understand the way how we think. So the story of snake and rope is very fundamental to understand. What we see is not really the reality, but it is our habit of seeing that way that keep reproducing what we see, and we keep reacting the same way. Maybe not exactly the same way, but something that we are very much used to see, we react more or less the same way. So why do we keep seeing the same thing? In order to really be free, we have to revisit the past illusions, personal and collective, in order for us to wake up. Revisiting our scares and our fears and see them for what they are, not real, in our mind. We become familiar with our mind patterns eventually. It is something quite difficult to realize, because for a long time we think it is ourselves. We always see things that way. Things happen to us from external to ourselves. And we did not develop the awareness or the inquiring mind. But when we become familiar with our thinking patterns, it helps us to recognize them. We keep seeing the snake, but also we become stronger with time. as the memory of the rope becomes more and more established, and we also remember how we made mistake last time. So we can transcend the vision of the snake to see the rope. What that means, you still will see the snake. But because we become stronger, so you can see through that snake idea to see the truth behind, which is the rope. So in order to do so, our mind needs to be stable and strong.
Để
And
chúng ta làm
clear.
được như vậy thì tâm trí chúng ta cần phải vững vàng và mạnh mẽ.
I hear interference.
Sorry, I was just resetting the French channel because it stopped working for a second.
Okay. So our fears are resulting from our weakness becomes more and more known. And we become more and more stronger. So that's a result of the practice of self-inquiry. So how to do this? How to unveil the self? Because the idea of ourself, it is said, is being veiled. How to be free from the habit to be ourselves. First, you ask the question, who am I? And the first answer is, I am this body. The body is made of the 5 gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. It is made of food. We are born with our constitution. There are 3 types according to Ayurveda, the ancient science of medicine. You can be solid, earthy, supportive, and steady, made of earth, water. You can be fiery, sharp, active, inquisitive, made of fire, or the fire element is dominant. You can be quick, sensitive, and moving, like air in space. I don't want to go in detail about this, but you can study about this. The idea is we are born with certain body, a certain constitution, and we have a certain psychology. The body constitution gives us the predisposition to think and be this way or that way. So we are not seeing the same thing. So to say that we live in the same world and we are seeing the same thing is not true. So our body constitution can fail us. However, whatever constitution or body type we are, the body is born, grows, decays, and dies at due time. Why? Because the body is not meant to be forever. We all know that. We might expect something different, but that's the truth. The body is not meant to be forever. It is at the moment of our birth, our number of breaths are being counted. So the body is not ourselves. And it keeps changing. If we line up different photos of ourselves at different times of our lives, from being a baby, toddler, to an adolescent, a grown-up, an adult, and photo of ourselves in our 30s, 40s, 50s, the body looks totally different in terms of size, shape, weight, appearance. And yet, we point out to each photo and we recognize the same me. We actually exclaim, "This is me, this is me, this is me." So think about this. There's a me in all these different shapes of bodies. So the me
Thì cái
is not
tôi
the
đó,
body.
nó không phải là cái cơ thể.
The body
Cái cơ
is our
thể này,
instrument. Okay, interference. The body is our instrument that we use for our journey in this life. The body is not ourselves. So mistaken identity with the body gives fears and anxieties, especially the fundamental fear, the fear of death. But the body journey is a chapter only in the book of our lives, not the whole story. Like in the book, there is many chapters. Every chapter is different character coming in, different characters, out of the story or disappear, and the story scene and the story, main happening is different in every chapter. So that means in one lifetime, in the body, we experience something that is different. So in order for you to keep remembering the fact or the truth about that I am not my body, so you get out of that fear, subconscious fear, then you need to keep thinking. So that's called meditation. Keep thinking. You have to think what you identify with. Very much so with your body. And you have to keep refuting. Think about this. Anything that changes is not permanent, is not you. So you can think, I am not my gender, male nor female. So I say like this, many people would get offended because there is a very strong identification to the gender. That's why it is said it's an advanced kind of meditation method that go to the root cause of our problems and sufferings. So you say, I am not my gender, male nor female. I am not my race, black, white, yellow. I am not my age, young, old, or older. I am not my physical beauty or appearance. I am the driver of this body vehicle. I am not the color or the shape of this vehicle. It's like you drive a car, a Toyota car. You don't identify with the shape of the car, the color of the car. You don't call yourself Toyota. You don't think that you are 10 years old and you're worth $10,000. You don't think like this. So you are detached from the characteristics of the vehicle. So you have to keep thinking like this. I'm not my muscles. I'm not my bones, my lungs, my heart. So when you keep meditating like this, basically what happens is you become detached. And when you become detached, when you step back from this idea, then something else takes place. That detachment allowed something else to take place, which is a sense of yourself that is not attached to this thing that you are attached to. And immediately it relieves ourselves from fears that come from attachment. So I am not my arms, I'm not my legs, I'm not my nose, my tongue, my eyes, my skin, my ears. You can say also positively, I am the driver of this body vehicle. And of these organs and the limbs, the organs are my instrument. I am the subject, and these are the objects. I am pure consciousness, and I am not the sum of different body parts. So detachment towards the body, not overly worry about it as yourself, but constantly carrying the idea that you are the caretaker of the instrument, gives you strength and health, free you from the fear of death, which is quite paralyzing in this time of virus threat or disease threat. So it's not a question of belief. It's a question of exercising the meditation and the thinking to step back and to detach and to alleviate ourselves from this long-term attachment, which creates this kind of worry and anxiety. Maybe normally we're not aware of that, but the time like this time, we become acutely aware of that. So that is why I thought of doing this kind of teaching of meditation, Vedanta meditation, which, to tell you the truth, I never really do it in public. I teach a lot of this for a number of years, but only to selected few group of students that are advanced in yoga, that I feel that they are ready to question and to not let take things, literally, that they have a sharp kind of mind or intellect to understand subtle truth, and they are seekers. But in this time of collective fear, panic everywhere, then it seems that it's that we need to go to the source of our problem. So if you don't mind, I need 1 minute. Just pause, just 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. So it goes deeper. The second identification is with our prana, or life force. So we very much identify ourselves with our vitality, because the prana, or the life force, energizes the body and it gives it life. But prana is changing, sometimes low, and we feel low, or sometimes high, we feel quite excited about life. Sometimes our prana is balanced, sometimes it's unbalanced. The prana comes from the air that we breathe, the earth, water, fire, the space, the environment, the thought environment that we are in. So we identify with what we feel. We feel energetic, or we feel tired. We feel strong, or we feel sick. Sometimes we feel very tense, blocked. Sometimes we feel the energy is flowing nicely. We identify also with our action, because the prana gives us, the power of action. And we are enjoying our life through our actions. We move here and there. Now we are staying still, hopefully, and everyone is, we call, shelter in space. in place, sorry. That means we are, many of us, not all, but many of us are in quarantine or have to stay home. But we are not ultimately our prana, our life force. We need to be aware and take care of our prana, do pranayama to purify and to regulate our prana and our emotion.
Thanh khiết và điều hòa cái prana và cái cảm xúc của mình.
It's okay. I had to reset again Vietnamese channel. Now it's okay.
But we are not the prana. Therefore, we need to stay detached from it. I had talked from before, the whole talk about prana and how we nourish our prana, how we restore our prana, how we are not excessively using our prana, how we're not losing our prana. Because when we have prana, then we have better immunity. So those who did not know this lecture, kindly look up in the blog website. So I'm not elaborating on this. I'm just saying that there's another level of ourselves that is beyond the idea I'm strong, I'm moving, I'm acting, I am my vitality. Even if I'm not acting, I'm not feeling strong, the I is still there, untouched, happy, complete, fulfilled. So the tendency to identify with our prana or vitality is very strong. In fact, it is the difference between life and death. So remember, this is a meditation. That means it's a practice of digging in or rethinking or think deeply in order for us to give perspective to things. So don't take things literally. I did not say you are not the prana. That means that you don't care about being alive or dead or healthy or sick. It's not like that. You cannot apply this teaching like literally like that. Of course, we have to take care of our health. We have to take care of vitality. We have to have a proper lifestyle in order for us to enjoy our life. And, we have to act in life in order for us to be, fulfilling our purpose, all this. But we need to know that there is another level of ourselves, deeper level of ourselves, that is untouched. And that is very comforting. So now the big question is our third identification with our mind and our emotions. This is very big, because a lot of us identify with our emotions. So when asking, who am I? I'm worried, you said. I'm angry. I'm fearful. I'm joyful. I'm sad. I'm grieving. So we identify with our states of minds and emotions. So this emotion kidnap our identity. We lose ourselves in our emotions. And we become what we feel. Overmore, the senses are connected to what we feel and keep us revolving between pleasures and pains. So the senses set the stage for the mind and the emotions to play. Play what? Play its comedies and dramas. But if you step back, then you see comedy can turn to drama, drama turns to comedy, snack turns to rope, rope turns to snack, and in between, the sense of I is lost, drowned in the emotions of all our relationships. Again, I have another talk on yoga relationships. Those who did not hear that, kindly look up. So the relationships or the emotions that make us feel ups and downs, happy and unhappy, love or separated. So now is the time to turn within, to stay still, and to find the happiness within, to find the love that is already there, to calm down, to detach, and to say and affirm, I am not the mind and the emotions. So there is another level of veil of our true identity. And this talk is about that. And this meditation and self-inquiry is about that. How to find our true identity, how to recover ourselves, how to be strong. So the fourth level, we say that I am not my ego and my intellect. So I can go on and tell the story of my life. I or you can go on and tell the story of our lives over and over again, to one person, to hundreds of people, to thousands of people, to my children, to my grandchildren. Yet, inside of you, if you look, you know, I am not my story. Even though I might be attached to it. And my story is very well rehearsed from lifetimes to lifetimes, generations to generations. The stories keep changing as my lessons keep changing. I keep acting out what I think myself to be. And my level of consciousness, my level of self-awareness my level of being a silent witness to myself, my understanding of who am I, separated or connected, isolated or together, alone or involved, unstable or stable, worthy or unworthy, proud of accomplishments, better or worst. I can feel I'm the achiever or a failure. My level of self-knowledge is changing. Therefore, it is not me, the unchanging. Truly, there is something beyond the ego stories that cannot be described. This is who I am, the background of things, the movie screen on which the movies and the stories play. And yet, I am unaffected. Detached witness, I am. So the calming of the mind and the ego, the realization of the silent witness, the observer of my thoughts, the consciousness awareness itself makes myself feel strong. I found myself and not losing myself when I detach myself from my stories. See, we are very attached to our stories. And sometimes we have to rehearse and rehearse, make sure that we don't forget our stories, our drama, our grudges. But this is completely something different, to try to remember yourself beyond the stories, beyond what's happening, and to be detached from these stories and stop justifying myself and keep asserting I am not my ego. Easy to say, but all those yoga practices turn around this idea to how to alleviate the ego or the false idea of who you are. So now, the fifth level of self-identification, that is more subtle. As it speaks about my purpose. As my questioning becomes deeper, I realize that I have been there, done that. for a long, long time. The purpose of this birth and its lessons is revealed. So as far the I is conditioned and attached, so my sense of purpose is distorted. Now, as my meditation go deeper, I am face to face with my sense of purpose. I realize the purpose of this birth. So I realize that my journey is from karma to dharma. Yeah, from being a victim to circumstances to a person free from being a victim. At that time, you can come to that deep level of self, of realization. Then you can become happy, blissful. So you assert in your meditation, I am blissful and happy. No more fear, no more separation, no more doubt, no more agenda. I am consciousness and bliss. I am free. So it doesn't hurt for us to keep repeating this. Even though we might not be able to realize right away, and it takes a lot of time for us to think and rethink and realize bit by bit, drop by drop, the truth that comes from these teachings. But it is said it's helpful to keep thinking about this. Because normally we are thinking about so many different things that are not really conducive to our realization of our truth. So we keep repeating our illusions and the illusions of others. So it's a time to rethink deeply using the teachings of the wise. So meditation is thinning out of the veils. Thinning out the veils. That means you adopt this kind of thinking in order for you to be less veiled. So the truth about you can shine stronger. So it is understood that you will not be able to realize right away the words that you might say in your self-affirmation or you have read in the teachings or scriptures. But the practice is to keep thinking about it. until you realize directly within yourself, because it makes sense, and you can realize directly within yourself only after you have purified. That means, we have done all our practices, our mind becomes strong, sattvic and clean, then it can reflect the light. So this kind of meditation is seeing through our illusions of ourselves and of others. We have to turn within and solve our problems from a different level of consciousness. It can only get better. We're not losing anything. We're only gaining in strength and courage to face our lives by being ourselves. Now the fact is, this meditation and self-inquiry are being forced upon ourselves. In this time of crisis, when all our established habits are being questioned, so now we have to reinvent ourselves or our life. The more the veils are thin, the happier and steadier we become. So it's not a process of getting some happiness from outside, but the process of purification and the process of right thinking, removing the false idea of self, so that the light within, the truth within, become more stable and reveal itself. So the more we become steady and light, the more this world will come to peace. That is a very nice conclusion. Simply put, the more that we have enlightened people or knowledgeable people or wise people in this world, the more the world will come to peace. Why? Because we understand that the self within ourselves and the self in others are one. Again, we revisit the idea of unity and diversity in this time. We realize our interdependence. We cannot get out of this on our own. This is a completely wrong idea. We cannot save ourselves, our skin, our nation, and let others perish. Or we cannot go on blaming this group, that nation for our problems. We are in it all together. So we need to think more about interdependence and let go of our fears. Let go of our clinging to the past. Let go of our projecting in the future. That's how our mind works, constantly going to the past and projecting the future. So we are full of regrets when it comes to the past. We're full of anxiety when it comes to the future. Only when we come back to our present, to our breath, to our presence, to ourselves, that we feel that things are opening up. The answers lie within. So, conclusion, there's only one truth. There is not your truth and my truth, because both are only reflections. There's only one sun, reflected in many surfaces, that makes you think that there are many suns, different qualities, different suns. But there is only one sun. So when it's reflected in the rock surface, the light shines a little. When it is reflected on water, it becomes distorted with waves. And when it becomes reflected on wood surface, the light is dim but more stable. When it is reflected on a shiny mirror, the light is bright, then the image is sharp. There's only one consciousness, the same consciousness in all beings, whether mineral kingdom, animal kingdom, humanity, or superhuman, you can say a saint. It's the same light, same consciousness. We are one. That's the ultimate teaching of yoga and Vedanta. The differences are only external, but the essence is one. So when we start to inquire about ourselves and about the truth, then we realize how we do not know and we act out of ignorance. We forgot the big picture. We forgot to do self-inquiry. We take it for granted, everything. We forgot the search of truth. We forgot our purpose. So in that ignorance, we become greedy, senseless, abusive towards animals and nature, not thinking, not respecting, constantly creating pains to others for our own pleasures. This time is the time we need to wake up and turn inwards. Question our ways, cease to blame, take responsibility, stop the killing of innocent animals, stop their abuse and their torture, become vegetarian, If the world become vegetarian, it will be a different world. We need to stop wasting of resources and the appropriation of planet Earth. We need to stay still and meditate. Everything we want is right here and now. I repeat again, there's only one truth. We are waves of the same ocean. We are clay, becoming different, either ugly pots or beautiful vases. We are gold, turning into different shapes and forms of ornaments. We are spirit and consciousness in the guise of different classes of man, of being. The coronavirus is equalizer. It can affect the rich, the poor, the statesman, the beggar, all the same. So whatever you are and wherever you are, start your self-inquiry. Listen to the teachings and the scriptures. Listen to the wise of all times. Even if you cannot understand completely, try. This is a time for us to practice this kind of meditation and inquiry. We need to wake up and learn what we can. To remember ourselves. Stay away from the past and the future. To be in the moment present. Learn to see the essence and not the manifestations. Respect the differences, as everything in essence is one. We need to come back to our unconditional love of self and others. And that love and that truth will set you free. So that's the end of it. It's you know, I start to think about this and it comes out like this. Now I see an ant on my table.
Thank you,
So think
Swamiji.
about this.
I got disconnected for a second, so I lost the host responsibility. I don't know if you can make me host again. You just have to click on.
I don't know how to make you host.
You just have to click on my name there, or Priya can do it.
Click on your name.
Yeah.
Do you want to take questions at all, or?
Yeah. You know. So we have, in principle, half an hour. We don't have to take it all, half an hour. As many people feel 2 hours is long. Now we have still, I think, 167 people listening. Thank you very much for listening. I know there's a lot a lot to digest. And like I said to you earlier, I really do not teach too much, like this kind of teaching to the public. But the circumstances, I believe, required this kind of teaching, or Vedantic teaching, go into the root cause of our problem. So I'm opening to questions.
So
Many people put chat.
if you're here, you can either raise your hand, and then we can have you ask your question, or you can type it in the Q&A at the bottom of your screen.
Somebody say, we want to hear about the ant. The ant was running on the table. I don't know where it is now. So I'm outside, so there is a lot of insects. The other day I saw a little frog jumping, and the color of the grass, so you don't even see it. You could have step on it. And a lot of insects around here. And there's the ant is in my computer on the screen. It come visit you, so you ask about it. Yeah. See if I can tell him to come say hello. Oh, yeah, it goes on the screen. You see it? No.
No, it's in the camera.
Okay. So we are surrounded by a called original forest here. There's many mountains here. There's the pine trees around, are cultivated here a few hundred years ago. But before that, there's the real forest around here. And the ashram, in ashram we can go. We can actually go for forest, we call the forest bathing. Yeah. And but they told us that this forest has no animals. So I was asking, where are the animals in the forest? There's no animals. You have a few monkeys. Yeah, it's an original forest. How can there is no animal? And yet there is no animal. Why? Because the human have killed them all. Imagine about this. Huge forest, huge mountains, and there is no more animal. So I remember when I was young, I remember I was drawing, the forest with animals, all kinds of animals, but there is no more. What do we do with the animals? So somebody is saying, what yogic practices help to withdraw from the senses and help staying withdrawn?
We also have questions in the actual Q&A chat. That chat box is different.
Okay. So whatever you ask a question and I answer.
So the first question in the box is, someone's asking about what type of mantra helps them with this type of meditation that you're explaining.
You can, if you are qualified student, you can repeat the mantra Soham. Soham means I am. You keep remembering I am, pure consciousness. I am not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the senses, I'm not the emotions, I'm not the ego, I'm not this happening, I'm not this energy, I'm not. And then I assert Soham. Soham. I am. So that is a possibility, and you can do that. Then, of course, there's a lot of Vedantic mantra that you can repeat. Okay.
Someone asked, how do you handle people when you're faced with angry emotions of another person?
The anger come from another person?
Yeah.
You it's difficult. You walk away if you can. And try not to get engaged and try to understand where they come from. So if you have the compassion and the empathy, then you know sometimes people are angry because their expectations are not met, you know, and you happen to be there. A lot of people are angry because, you know, how can you live in this life and not be angry? Because nothing turned the way how you want. You think that you have your self will, you have your your own space, your own life, your own freedom, and yet, you know, people find themselves completely confined, completely limited, and their life is not what they like to live. So therefore, anger is quite common. So that's why we said that we need to be compassionate, because we need to think of this, you know, deeper philosophical question, and then we realize that everyone is suffering. You are suffering, that person is suffering, everyone is suffering, and the suffering comes from the darkness within, come from the ignorance. It's not coming from the reason that the person is bringing out as the reason why they are angry. You know, it's they can attribute that anger to this and that and to you or to what you did and what you say, but it's not necessarily that. It's deeper than that. Yeah, is the it comes from the suffering and comes from the ignorance. So once you understand that, then you don't take it too personally.
Another
Okay.
question, Swamiji.
Okay.
Um, Someone is a yoga teacher and he wants to be able to teach selflessly and feels that he shouldn't put up an ego in himself, and he's wondering how he can do that.
So we teach under the name of our guru, our lineage, our teachers that come before us. So when we dedicate our teaching to the teachers that come before us and to the eternal teaching that we are only the instrument, then we don't develop ego. But when we don't have a source of knowledge that we can rely on, and our ego get hold of our activity, and we think that we are doing something, and then we get something out of what we do, and we get the praise, and sometimes we get the blame, and we get the money, and all this, then it will bring about more ego identification. Then it doesn't help us. But if you can teach selflessly with dedication, then that act of teaching yoga will lift you up and lift the other people that you are teaching up. So I'm glad that you asked the question. Thank you very much. So it's very important for yoga teacher to be selfless. And the best way is to be able to dedicate the teaching. Yeah, you don't claim that you are the author, you are the, um, you know, you are the teacher, but you dedicate and you offer the teaching and your time and your effort, yeah, to the lineage of teachers that come before you, to the wisdom, knowledge that makes you become a yoga teacher. Okay?
Okay, Swamiji. There's a couple of statements here. One statement is just that today in Moscow they introduced a quarantine for everyone, and it's very difficult for them.
Oh, okay. So I didn't hear the news. I thought in Russia there is not many cases.
They're not doing much testing, I heard.
Oh, okay. So it's the same situation. I was wondering why Russia there is not much cases and everyone seems to be okay. But now there's a big quarantine in Moscow. So we pray, and then we hope that our teaching being translated in Russian and sent out. That's all I can think. So everyone, you can spread the teaching. It's not my teaching, yeah. It's eternal teaching. If you can spread the teaching and help to alleviate the suffering, that would be great. Okay.
Another statement from someone is that she was hospitalized last year for a virus, so this COVID-19 feels very real, and she's very afraid of getting it. So she's happy you immediately showed her a way to face it if it does come to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you take the opportunity of the disease of last year to start your meditation and thinking about what is important, what is not about you, so then you equip yourself to be stronger for whatever circumstances, not necessarily the virus, but whatever circumstances in our life, because everything is all the time changing and we are all the time being challenged. We're all the time stressed out because of this and that, because that's the nature of this relative world. That's the nature of our lessons in this life. So if we become wise, then we prevent our suffering by thinking, by rethinking.
There's a question about how to best keep sane while being quarantined when there's other people that are giving off negative energy around you.
So I talk about that another time. It's very good that you, if you know and you've been exposed to mantra, that you use the mantra at this time. The mantra, it has a powerful energy, yeah, that would lift your mind up and also help other people, even though they might not understand. So you can download some helpful mantra. The good mantra is Om Trayambakam Yajame Sugam Dimpushtivadanam Urvao Kameva Bandanan Vichua Mukshya Mamritan. So this is a mantra for health, healing, protection. So you can download and you can listen all the time, and you let your friends or people living with you listen also. It helps to calm them down and try to understand that people are very on the, they are very stressed out and anxious, even though they might not say it, but everyone is anxious. Okay. So the more that you can share knowledge and yoga, do yoga practice, get a class online, and then try to breathe and teach them how to breathe and to relax and how to stretch. Okay. So you do the best you can, but the yoga teaching, simple teaching of breathing, centering, relaxation is very helpful for everybody. Okay. So you need to try, but don't be upset yourself because other people are upset, because it become a bigger upset. Okay. So it has to start with you, yeah, to be able to calm down. Okay. And look at nature. Yeah. If you are all the time looking at each other, thinking, and then all your thoughts are entangled with each other, and nobody have the answer, nobody have the solution, then it's not helpful. But if you can look at nature, look at the sky, you can look at the birds, look at the tree, you can, or the grass, or anything that we call nature, then you calm down. Yeah, then it's help you to balance and calm down. Then when you calm down, then it help the other person also to calm down. I know it's the most difficult thing when people have to live with each other all the time. So play also kirtan music in the house and try to read and try to make some group, of meditation or positive thinking, and get the workshops online and try to keep yourself busy. Don't don't live a life without schedule. The schedule is very helpful. Yeah, wake up with the sun and do different activities, and the ashram want to do many workshops coming up, so help people to keep themselves busy, like meditation on yantra we can do, yeah, meditation on music we can do, the different thing that we can do to keep our mind nourished, because that's what it is. Yeah, it's not like you are living your life waiting for something. Yeah, you try to live your life now and appreciate your life now. Yeah, fulfill your life now. Don't wait until the whatever the um, the government will decide when you start to live your life. It's not like that. Yeah, because now is now. So make the best out of the now, and then tomorrow we deal with tomorrow. So don't worry about this. Yeah, and try to be as positive now as possible, using yoga and meditation tools to calm the mind and to recharge yourself and to keep your mind very busy with positive thoughts. Okay, so please look up the blog. There's some talk about that already before. Okay.
So there's quite a few questions here about fear and how fear is influencing so many people. How can we overcome that fear? Is the fear connected to the increase in the number of cases that's been happening now?
Yes, I believe so. Because in the talk that I had before, it says that fear, the connection between fear and immune system. The connection now in this talk now today, we talk about the connection between fear and losing ourselves. Okay, because when we don't have faith and we have fear, then we lose ourselves in the fear. And when we lose ourselves in the fear, then a series of moments that we are anxious. We might be aware that we're anxious, that we are stressed out or not. Yeah, but the basic you can say energy or substance that sustain our life is not there. Yeah, we call the oja shakti, or the faith that give that quality of life, that enjoyment of life, that reason to be, that connection to everything, that is going missing. Okay, so if you are afraid and you're anxious, and that is the you are basically um, you are basically more subject to disease. Okay, because you become weaker, you become darker, you don't have a way how you can get out your head out of the water. So then you feel that you're sinking deeper and deeper into the darkness of this life. You feel more depressed, and the cells of your body feel the negative emotions. So it's very important. And now we are just creating online a service of health education and stress relief service. So if you want, you can go online and then you can check in. It's half an hour of intervention with a yoga health educator who is a yoga teacher but trained professionally to become a yoga health educator. And also there are some psychologists and some professional people that are there helping. And so you can go there and you can ask for help. Okay, so you can talk, because it's helpful to talk to somebody, yeah, that would give you a different feedback than the people around you that are also fearful. So try to bring this in, something new, yeah, in your environment that is positive. So you shift the energy of the whole group, or you shift the energy of your family and of yourself. Get out of that stress mode, because the stress mode is like this. It's like how you say, the quicksand. Yeah, you get the more that you are stressed out, the more that you act, the more that you sink. That's the way how it works. Yeah. So that's why this type of meditation or this type of thought is very important, to get a person consciousness out of this idea that is gripping them, that the idea of fear of death, fear of disease, fear of losing things, and don't see the future. Okay, so try to get back to the present and try to get all this help, and we can help you as much as we can, but you need to go online and you need to be asking for an appointment. Okay, if you want to have somebody talking to you.
So it's right on the Yoga Farm website on the homepage. You'll see there's a online counseling service, and then you can fill in a short application, and then there's different time slots available, and someone will meet you, or you can reference other people for a half an hour consultation. One more question about what is the best way we can help others who are grieving? Like, a lot of people are suffering now, but how can we actually be of help to them?
Yeah, all this big topic. To be present for them. That's what I think. The person is grieving because they feel they are losing, and they are very attached to something or to somebody, and they are losing it, or losing the sense of themselves. Sometimes they grieve because they lose their idea about their future. So there is a sadness and there's a grief there. So you need to be present for them. You need to be present, means to be loving, to be there, yeah, and say some comforting words if you can. It's you think that it doesn't make big difference, because the person grief is bigger than the word that you can offer, but it's not true. Okay, if you are sincere, then you can say words that can be very impactful. Maybe not at that moment, but it's important that you show your love and comfort.
I think she also might be referring to people grieving on their own, like people that have this, nobody can go near them. So a lot of people are dying alone in the hospital bed because nobody wants to go near them. So it's very sad case
Yeah.
that even the priest can't say prayer for them or anything because nobody can go near them when they have this.
Hmm. So that's why we need to be educated that thoughts transcend physical contact. That means the prayers and the thoughts can travel distances. Mm. You can be very far from somebody, but when you think of them and you pray for them, it's very, the person receive it. Or you can be in the physical presence of somebody, but you don't have much in common, and you're not opening your heart, and then you can be physically present or say some words, but it doesn't help. So it's very important that you pray. Yeah, if you are at a distance, the person might feel that they are alone, and they feel let down because nobody come close to them. But you need to somehow try to reach out to them and to send your words. Okay, now, people don't have to come, but maybe they can communicate. I don't know. Now we communicate by internet, by phone, by internet, and it's a shift in our way of functioning. We have to be. I never in my life I'm like this for hours on the internet, and I get used to it now. But so much of my life now is on the internet. But I believe in the power of thoughts. Okay, so love can be expressed through not necessarily touching a person. Yeah, of course, when you touch a person, there is a life prana, and so on. Now you cannot touch a person, then you have to go to another level where you have to. So we are all being educated somehow to function differently. Yeah, and so we all adapt. Mm. But it's not true that the person is when they are alone physically, that they're alone mentally. Yeah, they can be surrounded with people, but they're still alone. But it's always where it's a deeper topic about attachment. About our habits and our attachment. So that's all I can say for now.
I think
Pray.
question. One last question is a more personal question. She says she's able to connect her emotional self and her intellect when she's doing yoga and meditating. However, when back to reality, she starts to worry about the finances and working and the money. So she goes to a dark place and becomes immobilized.
Yeah, so again, fear. You can see that. Fear immobilizes you. So you are suffering from the fear of survival. So it's maybe more than necessary. Everyone think of survival, but I think for you, when you're not meditating, then you come back to your sense of survival, and that at that time you go to a dark place. Yeah. So you need to work on that. It's possible to work on that. You need to feel abundant. You need to think abundant. You need to see nature. You can live out of nature because nature will take care of you, and you need to feel connection. Yeah, to the divine that is supporting you, and because we are so used to think ourselves only in terms of finances. Yeah. But if the finances collapse, somehow we would survive. Why? Because nature is there. So you need to. I don't have time now to talk too much about this, but what I'm saying is you need to be more, how to say, rethinking about the way how you think about survival, the way how you think about money, yeah, the way how you think about resources. And it is said that because your attachment to this idea of money create the fear of lacking money. So in order for you to be free from the attachment, you would have to be giving instead of trying to get money and feel secure. You have to be giving money out, be in charity, and the more that you give it out, the more that you are asserting yourself that you are fine, yeah, that you are not needing, and then at that time you become free of your fear. Okay, that's one of the technique, one of the way.
I think that's it. Many people just say thank you. They're very happy to hear the birds and to see the trees and to see you.
Okay, thank you very much. So the next satsang, now we're still doing 2 satsang a week, but probably if everything calm down, we can do it once a week. But right now we do 2 a week, and this week will be upcoming will be on Wednesday night in West Coast, and in Asia here, Vietnam area, and it will be in the morning of Thursday. And the topic will be actually it's about meditation, different forms of meditation, and about meditation life, meditation do and don't, the correct understanding of meditation, so we can carry on meditating. Instead, if we have wrong idea about meditation, then we give up. Okay, so the idea is how to meditate and not to give up. Okay. So thank you everyone for being there. It's so wonderful, fantastic that you are there following and taking the time. And so the recording will be online and the text will be online, and please share as much as you can. And if you can also donate to the ashram. The ashram is closed, and no gas, no income, so we depends on your donation. Thank you very much. Om Namah Shivaya. Take care.
Shaman Mohini say thank you.
Thank you.